Okay, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Gottschall. I'm the Lower Paxton Township Manager, and in typical fashion, I will give a brief summary of tonight's agenda, particularly for the benefit of those who may be watching at home this evening. Jumping into new business, we have three non-recurring action items, which are awarding of a contract for the 2020 Township Drainage Improvement Project, adopting Resolution 20-37, which establishes for the first time salaries for the Township Authority board members in accordance with the Municipality Authorities Act, and adopting of Resolution 20-34, repealing the creation of the Friendship Center Operating Board. Next, the board will take up action on improvement guarantees before heading into the payment of township and authority bills. And lastly, the chair will call for any final announcements before seeking a motion of adjournment. And with all that said, the members of the board are presently and on their way to be seated. So with that, I'll hand it over to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll call this meeting of the Lower, sorry about that. Call this meeting of the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors to order. If everyone would please rise, Supervisor Judd will lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move now to approval of minutes of the meeting of September 8th, 2020, the budget and business meetings. Is there a motion to approve those two sets of minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from September the 8th, 2020 for the Board of Supervisors budget and business meeting.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
At this point, we will move to public comment. Before we do, the Board of Supervisors met in executive session prior to this meeting to discuss a personnel issue, and will be resuming that meeting following this meeting. Public comment is a time set aside for public to address the board on an item not on the agenda this evening. If you wish to discuss an item on the agenda, we will take public comment on that item at that time. Would anybody like to address the board on an item not on the agenda this evening? Trying to look around the bear. Nobody wants to. Okay, very good. At this point, we'll move to chairman and board member comments. Chairman has no comments. Board members, any comments?
Just a reminder that this Friday night from 6 to 7:30 over at the Friendship YMCA on Commons Drive, we will have the drive-through Santa.
Okay. Anybody else? With that, the manager's report. Mr. Gottschall.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you very much. So, after 16 years, the township was hiring for the position of finance manager, adding to our already busy recruitment efforts already underway for the newly created position of authority accountant. The position of finance manager has long been of high importance to the township, serving as a key member of the township manager's senior staff and assisting all other departments in the administration of course, financial matters. We have with us this evening Jada Handebo, who began as finance manager actually just yesterday. Oh. Ms. Handebo, a certified public accountant and a graduate of Susquehanna University, joins us from Boyer and Ritter, an accounting and consulting firm out of Camp Hill, where most recently she served in the capacity of senior associate overseeing a team of public sector auditors. I'm excited to have Jada on staff, where I know she will make great contributions and assist the finance director in leading this very important department. So Jada, if you want to take the podium and say hello to the board. This is Jada.
Good evening, Jada.
Thanks, Brad.
Hello,
Hi.
Jada.
I'm Jada.
And Jada, I have, as I had for Brittany, one question for you. What excites you the most about working with Lower Paxton Township?
I'm really excited for the learning and growth opportunities that I will get by doing the meaningful and challenging work that this position entails. Great. I'm happy to be here. Welcome. Thank you.
Do we do the three adjectives or?
Oh, I was just going to ask that.
Well, she probably got asked
I
them
was
at the
expecting
interview.
it. Yeah, I did get asked that.
Job interview's over.
Did they ask you that during your
Yep.
interview?
The other young lady said that too, so they stole that from Mr. Chrisman.
For those who wonder what we're talking about, it was Mr. Chrisman's habit to ask every applicant for any major position to describe themselves using three adjectives. So, of course, the first test was that you knew what an adjective was, and then apply them to yourself. And it occasionally flummoxed some people, right, Brad?
Well, that's why I've been adding it into the interviews, because I want to make sure I'm not the only one who can't do it. So,
Welcome, Jada.
You're welcome, Jada. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Do you have other items?
that is all I have.
Are you going to be playing with the toy there, or is there a story behind these toys?
I'm not quite sure about this
bet you it's
toy,
Friday night.
but yeah, as Mrs. Lindsay had mentioned, the Santa Stop and Donation Drop. This program is an annual one that the police department runs to collect toys and non-perishable food items for families in need. But the Parks and Rec department will also have a drop-off location at the Santa Drop this Friday, in which families can bring toys and other items to help families in need.
And that's where this guy's, I guess it's a bear? I
Looked
can't
like
Yes.
a monkey.
Oh, it's a monkey? I can't tell.
I
from the
can't
back.
tell. Is it a monkey or a
As
bear?
long as it's
Looks
not
like
a
a bear.
cat. I don't know cats. It's not a cat, okay. Very good. Okay, with that, we have no items under old business, but we have a number of actions under new business to attend to. First of all, we need to take action to award a contract for the 2020 Lower Paxton Township Drainage Improvement Project. And let's see if we can get the recommendation up there. Mr. Weaver, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The Lower Paxton Township opened bids for the 2020 drainage improvement projects on November 24th. You have in your packet the bid results. The lowest responsible bid was submitted by Macmore Construction LLC in the amount of $989,188. Macmore Construction is a qualified contractor with a good reputation in construction industry who has performed similar in recent work in the South Central Pennsylvania area. You have a letter from HRG in your packet recommending that the board award this contract to Macmore Construction for the bid price of $989,188. The engineer's estimate for this project was $1,952,699.10. And attached is the certified bid tab, which just briefly wanted to tell the board that the good news is that we got very competitive bids. We had 19 bidders. You can see that there's a lot of hungry contractors out there, which resulted in the bid being extremely less than the engineer's estimate. The authority members recall that at our last authority meeting, we just approved the 2021 Stormwater Fund budget, which included $2 million allocated for this project. So we'll have some savings in our bond money as this is coming in at $989. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
What was the reason why? I saw some of the bids were, there was at least one over $2 million, and there was a wide range from this 989 to over 2 million. What explains such a wide range in the bids, or is there an explanation?
The contractors can't even explain it. So we get calls all the time from contractors, complaining about these bidders bidding these projects so low. So we have a similar situation with Dolly in the sewer work, where the last two projects were around 15 to 17 million, and they came in $1 million below the other contractors. So it really depends on, how hungry the contractor is. So apparently, the top low bidders were pretty hungry for this work, believe they could make a profit. I mean, most of these jobs is prevailing wages.
Right.
They have to pay, so it's all labor and pipe and paving backfill. I mean, that's essentially it. So it's really what dictates whether or not they make a profit is their production. So if they think they can get good production, they can make a profit. So, and I know I did speak to Jason Hines today from HRG, and Jeff is here as well to answer any questions. But they have worked with this company before, and again, they have a good reputation. So it's good news. We're getting a good deal.
Hopefully not a lot of change orders
Hopefully not.
called for.
Now, I have a question. I guess my only
Yeah.
question would be, I mean, and you just kind of answered it, but, you know, our engineer's saying that it's gonna be that price, and they're about little less than half of what the estimate was. You know, what do you think? What's the reason for that? I mean, just that they were hungry and they wanted to, you know, put a lower bid out there so that they could win, or, you know, what's the difference in the, you know, what our estimates were?
So I did talk to Jason today about that. Basically, what HRG does is they take average bid prices from projects over the last few years, and that's how they dictate their estimates for the board. They believe that's more prudent than using lower bids from previous projects. So that way, if you would have bidders that wouldn't give these lowball prices, then you're not going to come extremely under budget. So there's really, you know, you can make an argument for both cases, right? So you could argue that you don't want to engineer it high because then you're budgeting too high. But, you know, HRG certainly has a point there is that, you know, basically there's a danger and a risk if you would underestimate and then come under budget.
The thought on this one is that we've never had 19 bidders before on stormwater project. There's some hunger out there. I have a feeling it's the uncertainty of what's going on in the world right now, and a lot of these people want to latch on to sure things, so to speak. This is what we're thinking, because we were surprised to get it that long.
Yeah.
It's really low. $1 million.
We think there's some good contractors out there.
Thank you.
And the magic thing, like Ms. Lindsay said, is you gotta watch for change orders.
Well, we'll appreciate our good fortune at this point.
Absolutely.
Board members, any other questions?
Nope.
Any public question or comment? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we award the contract for 2020 Lower Paxton Township drainage improvements to Macmore Construction LLC in a total amount of $989,188.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. And now let us go to item 9B, and this is to establish salaries for the Lower Paxton Township Authority board members. And this, of course, in accordance with the appropriate acts.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, again, thank you. So Resolution 20-37 provides for the governing body of the municipality must appoint the members of the board, which you're familiar with staggered terms. The act also provides that the members shall hold office until their successors have been appointed. They may also succeed themselves, and they shall receive such salaries as may be determined by the governing body of the municipality. But no salary shall be increased or diminished by the governing body during the term for which the members shall have been appointed. So therefore, the resolution does point out that the board desires to establish salaries for newly appointed members only, and that shall be set at $100 per meeting for each regular meeting or special meeting. And it's only assigned to members of the board who are not members of the Board of Supervisors, because as you're aware, unfortunately, supervisors are not allowed to receive compensation. They're not allowed to vote for themselves. Right. Thank you, solicitor.
It's sort of hard to get a majority on that at the moment.
So just to highlight, I didn't put it in your packet, but The staggered terms that the authority has now would have Robert Oakes having his term expire at the end of this year. So staff will be recommending that we reappoint Mr. Oakes. He would be the first and only one next year to receive the compensation. Following that, it will be Dave Ramsey beginning in 2022, and then Chairman Blaine beginning in 2023. I'll be happy to answer any questions on Resolution 20-37.
So just to refresh, so there are 4 supervisors on the authority board. There are 3 citizens.
Yes.
And we're doing this now because for years ago, it was all citizens, completely separate. I guess the question is why we're doing this now, and where did $100?
That's a great question. I apologize for not leading off with that. So the way the original board back in '95 did it is they appointed the entire 5-member supervisors board to the authority. So the intent was to have, at that time, the authority members and the supervisors to be the same. And then the township management agreement was adopted where the township basically ran the authority. Steve can tell you way back then if he remembers, but I know he's told me in the past that the reason the authority was not basically extinguished is then there'd be PUC regulations, correct, Steve?
If you operated outside of the borders of the township.
Which we
yes.
do, yes. So that was the intent, to keep the members the same, and then over time, members of the supervisors wanted to appoint people that they thought could be an asset to the authority. So we increased the, through the, help me out there, Steve, the
Articles of amendment.
incorporation, thank you.
Yeah.
We increased the board members from 5 to 7.
We added some citizens.
Correct.
And just never got around to
Never
the
really
salary.
thought about the salary thing for 2 people, and then actually one of the board members asked me, so I researched the Authorities Act with Steve, and then lo and behold, it does provide for salaries for authority members.
And then the number $100 per meeting, where did that come from?
So over the last couple decades, most municipalities pay their board members $75 a meeting. So that's 20 years old, so I just felt that 100 would be fair, especially the time and effort with the size. We're one of the largest authorities in the state in terms of revenue and expenses and capital expenditures. So I thought $100 would be fair.
It's giant. Okay. And we've traditionally been doing quarterly meetings.
Right.
We're moving to monthly.
Monthly
if they're
next year.
If they're justified. If there's
Yes.
not enough
Well, I
work.
anticipate having probably 8 or 9 meetings and canceling a few. Monthly meetings was preferred because the packets were so large, and the quarterly meeting were hundreds of pages.
It was too big.
I think Mrs. Lindsay may have pointed out that
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to read 200, 300 pages of sewer and stormwater documents. So
Right.
a little
We'll
bit
spread it
easier
out.
to digest over a monthly basis.
And
so.
if there's simply not enough work, then we don't have a meeting.
Yep.
She's a speed reader.
Yeah.
I was thinking of you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, any additional questions for Mr. Weaver? Any public question or comment? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 20-37, establishing salaries for the Lower Paxton Township Authority Board members in accordance with Municipality Authorities Act of 1945 as amended at $100 per meeting.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. And now we move to item 9C on the agenda, and this to take action on Resolution 2020-34, repealing the establishment of a Citizens Advisory Committee to assist in the operation of the Friendship Community Center. There is the resolution. Mr. Godshall, would you like to explain said resolution?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, supervisors. Through Resolution 99-06, a Citizens Advisory Committee was established to, quote, provide guidance and recommendations to the Board of Supervisors and township staff in regard to the day-to-day operation and management of this public facility, as well as planning and development of its future capital needs, end quote. With the recent completion of an agreement with the Harrisburg Area YMCA, the need for certain recommendations and guidance provided by a township-appointed board for the purpose of operating the Friendship Center no longer exists. Resolution 20-34 has been reviewed by Solicitor Stein and is ready for board action this evening.
Very good. Any questions, board members?
The bottom line is there's no need for an operating board because the township doesn't operate the facility
Yes.
anymore.
Correct.
Any questions or comments?
And just as, say what has been said earlier, just that we appreciate the years and years of hard work by this operating board.
Any public question or comment? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Resolution 2034, repealing the establishment of a Citizen Advisory Committee to assist in the operation of the Friendship Center.
So moved. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, the resolution is adopted. And then we need to go to subdivision and land development, of which there are none. Improvement guarantees. Autumn Oaks, Stray Winds, Dental Office, Hoffman Ford, Devonshire Community Church. Anything out of the ordinary here? All looks pretty routine. Anybody have a question? Hearing no questions, would someone like to make a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the guarantees as presented.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
And now we go to payment of bills of Lower Paxton Township and the Lower Paxton Township Authority. Mr. Treasurer, this might take a while.
Well, it could take a while, but I move that we approve the payment of the bills for Lower Paxton Township and Lower Paxton Township Authority. And if I read every single one of them, we'd probably be here for another hour. So that's my motion.
That's your motion. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Any additional announcements? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so came upon something nice. I know Mr. Judd and I have been helping out a little bit, but the community, the Facebook page, Lower Paxton, Neighbors of Lower Paxton, they're having a bike raising, bikes for, not raising bikes, but they're getting bikes for children that need them. So currently, they're at, I think, 96 kids that need bikes. They have, I think, 108. Their goal this year was 100. They are still keeping that open until Friday for anybody out there watching that might not be able to get a gift for your child this year or grandchild. If you can reach out to them or to myself, I can put you in contact with them. Forrest Healy is the gentleman that I've been speaking with, and they're going to be giving them away on December 18th, and it's a great cause. So wanted to put that out there.
And did I also read that, is it the Lingelstown American Legion had purchased helmets? A large quantity of helmets as well?
Yeah, I did hear they were going to cover all the helmets, yep.
Excellent. Congratulations to all who are involved there. And, the thought did strike me looking at this Paw Patrol vehicle that Director Kashiba asked for some new police vehicles. So you think this would work for the director? No.
It would work. It would work for our budget.
It would work for our budget, yeah. It's worth a try. Anything else, board members? Okay, if not, our next board meeting will be a workshop meeting next Tuesday, December 8th at 7 p.m. in this meeting. And this will be the much anticipated annual presentation of the budget by our township manager, who will have, I'm sure, a very classy PowerPoint presentation. And I won't give it totally away, but the news is pretty good. So that's
good.
our next meeting next Tuesday, December 8th. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.